friends, this is Laura with Potpourri of Life. I hope that you're doing great. Here in New Hampshire, it's raining this afternoon. This morning we woke up, it was actually really quite beautiful, and then the sun came out and it was really hot. It made it difficult working on the final bit of items that I'm transplanting. I still didn't get all the transplant in because the heat is too much for me, but that's for another time. What I wanted to talk to you today is because it's Frugal Friday, I want to share some tips about shopping deals. So how do the stores give you the deals? What brings you to the table in terms of saying, oh, I want that? They have gimmicks. This is what they have for sales departments. Their job is to make it look like this is something you need and you might not. So the best thing that we do, my husband and I will talk about different things that we need. And it's just a running sheet. I have a sheet of paper, and he says, Laura, next time you're at the grocery store, I need such and such. So I'll just put it on the list. And the reason is, even though our grocery store is right down the corner, it's only like 5 minutes away, I'm not going to run there every single day because that's a waste of gas. It'd be great if I walked there, but I don't, because I'm not going to walk that far at this juncture in my life. So we just keep a tab on, like he might need something like a tool, or he might need like a saw blade or something like that. He'll just say, this is what I need. And I might need a color of spool, a spool of thread, a certain color. So those are the things that we keep track of what our needs are. It doesn't matter what product we're purchasing. So that's the first thing we do, and we always have a budget in mind. And the reason that we do that is so that we're aware of pricing at all times. Like, I know how much thread is. Today it's really high. You could spend $4 to $6 on a spool of thread. Yes, that's right. And you wonder why seamstresses charge so much for mending and stuff. That's just a small portion of it. But, you know, everything that we're buying now is getting more and more expensive. And today, socks could be a certain dollar amount. In a month, it could be worse, because that's the way the economy is today. Will it change? I hope so. But we have to think back to years gone by of how our ancestors survived during these times. And basically back then, they only bought what they needed. So when you are looking at something that you really want, what is the thing that's drawing you in? One of the sales gimmicks that companies do is they have colors. Have you ever gone on Amazon? Years ago, I don't shop at Target anymore, and I haven't for like 3 or 4 years now, but one time I was in there and there was something I wanted, and I wanted it in this teal color because Dave and I both love teal. And I think it was a piece of outdoor furniture, like a table or something like that. And we both really liked it because of the teal, but it cost more money. And so I asked the salesperson, I said, is this right? I think you've priced this wrong. They said, oh no, we price the colored ones more than the basic, white and black. I said, why? She says, because more people want that. I said, but it costs the same amount to manufacture. Didn't matter. That's what gets you. And if you ever gone on Amazon, even Walmart, go on there and check some things out. And if you like a particular color that's not the neutral colors, you will find that oftentimes you're going to pay more for that color. Is that what you want? Is that okay with you? Then, you make the decision, is it worth it? Sometimes if you're shopping, you'll get a deal like in the specials area, and it'll say that this particular item is $9.99. You go in and you look at the different options, same thing, same size, same everything, but the color is different. And you will find that if you click on that other color, it will change to a higher price. So always be aware that that's going to happen. So you need to think about, do I really want that? If it's not a sale, can you wait for it to go on sale? Because the one thing I have learned, everything goes on sale. Now, when I ran my business, I didn't do sales because I wasn't into gimmicks, and I don't like being a part of the gimmick consumer. But here we are. We kind of have to be aware of the gimmicks to save money. Now, one of the things, the reason that I am bringing this up today is, and I've been wanting to share this for a while, every single morning I get a slew of emails, and they're tempting. A lot of them are my suppliers that supplied me fabric, because I now purchase online. And I have to be very careful because I love fabric. I used to prefer to go to the store. My quilting store that I used to go to, which was like about an hour and a half drive, is no longer in New Hampshire. They moved. I do find that they're a reliable company, so I can order from them. There are a few companies that I order from because they sell quality quilt type fabrics, the cottons and the linen that I like to sew. If I'm going to purchase fabric, it's usually cotton, linen, or 100% pure silk. And I'm not a snob, folks. It's just that those are the fabrics that work best for me and my body. And so what I've learned, though, and this has always been the case, there's always a deal to be had. And one fabric store that I use, they will say, today's one-day deal, you get to have a batch of fat quarters, for instance, for this price. You can only buy one. So say you want two, that means you got to pay the other higher retail. So you have to determine, are you shopping to get a deal, or are you shopping because you need it? Now, I love fabric. I try to avoid the fabric in some of those stores. I try not to go to them, but if we're out and we haven't been out in a long time, sometimes my husband will take me there because I enjoy fabric, but I have plenty, so I'm not really craving that. It's the same thing with yarn. I like working with yarn. So those are the things, those are my temptations. So keep that in mind when you're shopping. Is it a need? Can you take inventory in your own stash area and say, do I really need that? Now, when we're getting to the point of food, this is a little bit different, because if we have clothes, if we don't need fabric, can we repurpose fabric, which I do a lot of now. I've always done it, but I'm doing it a lot more. But with food, it's a little bit different because our grocery bills are just getting higher. Today we went to the grocery store because we needed just a few things. And so we wrote a list. I said, this is what I want to get. David told me what he needed. And then I'm just going through and I'm like, okay, this. And when I put produce down, I don't have an itemized bill. I don't have an itemized list there. I just know what I want to get. In the produce aisle, I only buy what I'm going to use because I really prefer to go to the farm stand that I go to and buy in bulk there. But right now, when I'm going and my garden is just starting to come along, and I have plenty of lettuce in my garden, yay! And I have some other things that are growing that I can use, but I still need some vegetables from the grocery store. And I look forward to being able to make that trip. It's an hour and a half drive for me to go to the farm stand that I like, but I can buy in bulk, and I get better deals that way. But in saying that, like today we went to the grocery store, and usually our grocery bill has been running like $100 to $150, and we're just kind of like, do we really need all this stuff? Well, I didn't buy any meat today. I bought some vegetables. My husband wanted to get some cereal, and he really limited it. I was really kind of surprised. He wanted some yogurt, and we both need creamers. And then I got him some luncheon meat that's actually turkey. And I put luncheon meat in my salads and stuff from time to time if I'm not using a hard-boiled egg. So we went there and we just went right in. It's 5 minutes from the house. And I wanted to be right back because we both had things to do before he went to work. So we went right around the perimeter. He went off to get his cereal and we were done in 20 minutes. He goes, I can't believe how fast we got through this. That's the other thing you want to do. The reason you want to have your list is because you know exactly where all these products are, and be aware, stores will mix things up, so you have to look a little bit harder. And that's what the employees are there for, and say, hey, where'd you move the molasses? And they will tell you where it is, because it's really kind of bizarre where they shelve some particular items. So we got a few things. We spent $75, and I'm like, wow, at least we spent less than $100. And the cashier said most people spend $150, $200 every trip. And that's what we're trying to cut back on. So we knew what we wanted. We went in. We got done. So, but another thing that I do is I check those sales flyers. What is it that we are trying to stock on our shelves to have on hand? Now, yogurt, we don't go far ahead. And in creamers, we don't either. We do have some powdered creamers for just in case, but I already have a canister of that, so do I need another one? I think it's going to depend on how the economy continues going, and I honestly don't. I like the liquid ones, but I told them I'll figure out a way to make one, so that's in the to-do pile for me to create. So, and the worst thing about creamers, or is it? I can't have dairy, and he can, so we buy different ones. Plus we have different flavors and all that. So we have to buy different ones and they're different prices. So we're trying to figure out something that we can do. Okay, I went on a tangent. So be aware of your sales. Go through your sales flyer. We can get it online and we can also pick it up as we walk into the store. I saw the flyer online, but I picked it up when I went in and I just started going through. I said, okay, this, and this. And I showed them what they were saying. And I've shared this before. On your sales flyer, if it does not say save 50 cents or save $1, then it's basically their regular price. And they'll say, compare prices. And one of the things I did, because he wanted some graham crackers, I said, oh, they're advertising the graham crackers, the big family size. And then I looked at the unit price. I compared that to our store's store brand graham crackers. Guess which one I bought? I bought the store brand because per unit it was less costly. Did it matter to my husband? Not at all. And he's not eating the whole box of graham crackers at once, so it didn't really matter. So that's what we look for. The next thing I want to talk to, and this is the part that really got me to want to do this, is your email marketing. And I think I mentioned that at first. I keep getting these emails from different places, and one of the places that I get emails, and these are for places like that give you rewards and they give you incentives. If you purchase so much, you've got to have all this credit. The last one that I had some credit, I had $15 in credit at Michael's. I don't go to Michael's much. And it was on my reward thing for a good couple of months. So David and I went in and I said, okay, I really don't need anything, but let's go in. And so we picked up a few things that we could use for some of the things that we're making. And so basically I would get $15 off my total purchase. That's kind of a cool thing. I went to a place that wasn't in my own local store, and I don't have apps on my phone. They're just too complicated. No, they're not complicated. I just don't want them on my phone. And so I said, hey, I've got a $15 credit. They had my account right there. She goes, oh, I can't access it. I said, yes, you can, because other stores can. So I said, okay, I don't want these products. See, I am willing to put things back. I'm not, like if I'm being told that I have $15 credit, then I should be able to use it. And I got home and I had it and I couldn't get it locally because they had the items that were on clearance. I said, oh, this will look really cute. They were just little things that I was going to add in the garden just to make it whimsical. And they wouldn't let me have my coupons. I said, okay, it's not a big deal. I said, you can take these back and put them on the shelf. She goes, you don't want them? I said, if you don't want to give me my credit, I don't need to buy from you. And I had things that were over that $15. So it wasn't like I was just getting the $15 worth. I was kind of disappointed that they wouldn't honor my credit. And I knew it was there. Could I have called the manager? You know what? I think my age has told me it's just not worth fighting this stuff anymore. Did I need what I picked up? No. Was I going to lose any sleep because I didn't buy it? Nope. I just don't like these gimmicks to get you into the store. And the only reason I went into that store in that particular town is because we were already out. And so I asked David, I said, let's stop over at Michael's over there and just see if I can use that $15. No. 2 days later, it expired. I lost that $15. But every day, I get an email saying, hey, you've got 78 cents every day for a while now. I don't care. I delete those emails and I think they have a new thing where if you purchase so much, you can get more credit. I don't fall for that trap. It's not worth it. I have an incentive at a grain store that's an hour drive from me. So when I'm up there, I'll just check, do I have a $5 credit online? Because every now and then they'll send me an email, $5 off a $20 purchase. I don't need to bring a coupon in. I don't need to do anything like that. And we don't make a special trip to get $5 because I'm going to spend more than $5 to get there. So we only ask when we're up there. Another place which was horrible was Kohl's. And the reason I can say the store names, I didn't tell you the grain store because they're a small business, and I don't think what they're doing is horrible. It's just like, hey, we have a coupon for you. It's been 3 months. Why don't you come on in? It's just an incentive to get you there, and it's a kind way of getting you in there, and you have to purchase a certain amount. Kohl's is known for their gimmicks, and I caught on at first. At first, it was like when it was new, it was like, oh, I got $20 Kohl's Cash. What is that? And what it is, you buy so much. Many of you who are watching go to Kohl's. I said, oh. So I would go back and buy, and it's like, okay, Kohl's is like 45 minutes to an hour away from me. I'm like, how much money am I spending in gas so that I can go spend that? And I always buy on clearance or a sale, a really good sale, and use their coupons. Well, Kohl's has changed. They limit the type of products that they use their coupon codes for. I got a flyer from them the other day, 30% off. I'm getting those 30% off coupons all the time. And part of it is because I'm not shopping. The less you shop, the bigger the discount you'll get. And I don't like to get into that gimmick because I did buy some stuff around Christmas time for some items that I needed that were on sale, and I had a 30% coupon, and it's like, score, I'll take care of this. And then, and another thing is, when you shop online, which is my preference, you get free shipping if you spend $75. $75 net. So you know how much you have to spend in order to get, like, I can't do this. I don't want to be buying a bunch of stuff. So, I mean, unless it's socks and underwear, jeans, or whatever that we need and at a price that we can afford. So be very careful of those type things. Are those bad things to follow? No, absolutely not. Joanne Fabrics or Joanne Crafts now, I guess it is, they do that kind of thing too. And when I was shopping there a lot locally, I would buy my patterns when they were on sale, my fabric at another time, because they never had these things on sale at the same time. And ask yourself why. The reason is you're going to get that pattern, and now you're going to go shopping for the fabric. That is typical. More especially if you have kids wanting to make something. And so you get this, and then you get the fabric, but I never did. I buy my thread separate, I buy my fabric separate, and I haven't bought many of those items in a long time. Now I've just been ordering what I need in bulk, and I get in, I buy basic colors. So, but, and one time I was in Joann's, and I was looking at their baskets, and it was 40% off. I said, okay, what's the regular price? And this is at a point when everything was going up. And a woman came over to me, she didn't work there, and she goes, what's wrong? I said, I'm trying to figure out the price of this. There's no price. And she goes, oh, it doesn't matter, it's 40% off. Okay, guys, my mind does not work like that. Just because it's 40% off, that doesn't mean that I'm going to purchase that. Why? Because I want to know that 40% off is worth it to me. And the reason I'm not sure is because when they started selling canning jars as craft purchases, it was more expensive to buy one jar or even their case of 12 than it was for me to purchase in bulk. Like going to the grocery store or at Walmart, you can get your jars for back then it was like $8, $9. But at Joann's it was more expensive. Sorry for my friends who are watching this. I don't mean to insult your company. It's just that's the way I shop. I am really careful about how I'm spending. So know that these emails coming in, they're meant to get you to buy. But one nice thing about the emails, if you shop online, and I do shop online, I go in and I kind of put things in carts. It's almost like a wish list for me. And then sometimes I'll convert it to the wish list because I only want to buy these items, so I'll put the others in my wish list. Sometimes though, I will leave the cart because I get an interruption or I want to think about it before I actually buy it. And I learned this a little while ago, that sometimes you just leave it there and they don't want you to leave your cart. They don't want you to not purchase. So you might get a 10 or 20% discount sent to you to incentivize you to complete your order. Now that to me is great, because if it's stuff that we both have said, yeah, I need it, or one or the other this is something they want. That incentive is a help. Sometimes they'll give you a free shipping. Now be mindful that sometimes they'll send you free shipping and 20% discount. Not always can you combine those two discounts. I know, bummer. But that's the thing you got to think about. Is the free shipping worth more than that 20% discount? And that's what I kind of do. Okay, what's 20%? What's the shipping? And I kind of figure, okay, shipping's more. I'd rather get the free shipping. Sometimes some companies give you both. A lot of them are not doing that much anymore. So those are some things to keep an eye out. One of the things that I mentioned, set a budget and know your prices. When I said keep a list, one of the things you want to do is make sure that you know your prices. Right now, it's really hard, even for me, to know what's the price of certain things. But I do know, like the cereal that my husband wanted, it was 2 for $5. And I knew that was a good price. And when he said, Laura, this doesn't say it's on sale. That's what they were, it doesn't say it's on sale. I said, no, it doesn't. And so we're not in a hurry to buy something if it's not on sale, if he doesn't need it. Because we kind of keep an eye on sales so that we can stock our pantry. That's how we do it. And so we know that everything goes in cycles in the grocery store. So we just wait until we get that sale of the things that he wants. And he's starting to tell me that he doesn't really want to be eating cereal as much as he was before. Yay. And he was complaining today because today I fed all the chickens. I scrambled up some eggs. I threw in a bunch of herbs and stuff like that, and it smelled really good in the kitchen. But I also threw in eggshells because the dried eggshells I throw in there too. And he came, this smells really good. I said, you don't want it. It's going to be crunchy. But I give it to them for their calcium. So I make them their own breakfast. And he says, you treat them better than me. I said, if I made you cereal or made you a breakfast, you would tell me you don't want it. So I don't even offer it to you. Your typical breakfast is cereal or oatmeal. But if you want me to start cooking you breakfast, I'd be more than happy to do so. I get up at 6. He gets up at 7:30 because of his work schedule. So the likelihood of me making him breakfast at 7:30, I have done breakfast for the chickens. I have done breakfast for me. And by the way, I don't cook my chickens' eggs every day. No. They get grains most time. And I ferment some of the grains for them. I give them fresh vegetables from the garden. I do things for the chickens so they have a healthy diet. And that's the only reason I believe I've been able to consume their eggs, because I have an egg allergy. It's the only reason. And so besides that, so he's getting jealous. And I said, hey, listen, I would be more than happy to make you breakfast every single day. But you got to tell me that's what you want. I will hold off feeding the chickens if that's what you want. So we'll see how that goes. I think, well, tomorrow he'll be home, so maybe I'll make him breakfast, and he might not even eat it. I don't know. Okay, another thing that I don't really like, and I tried it, the shopping tools on your phone, the apps and stuff, and I've tried them. And you know what happens is I don't buy enough of those name brand products. I just don't. My daughter introduced me to it, and she does fabulous. She's earned enough credit so that she could buy her winter coat once. She buys her kids' clothes, and she buys certain things that she needs because of the money she spends for groceries and name brand products that, works for her. And I'm like, I just don't buy these things. It took me 2 years to get $10, okay, to earn $10. And then I said, okay, I'll use this. And then, but I couldn't use it because I wouldn't give them my cell phone number. Why do I not give my cell phone number to manufacturers, to marketing? Because I don't want that many calls on my cell phone. First of all, I don't like using a cell phone. I have sound sensitivity. I do use it, but I prefer it to be with people that I know and for a reason. But I do not like telemarketers knowing my cell phone. Just don't, never have, never will. So I couldn't get my $10. And I'm like, okay, I'm done. It took me 2 years to get $10. Do you think that was worth it to me? No. So I don't do the apps. But my daughter likes it. Her cell phone is the only phone she has. I have a landline that I've had for years. and I use that. That's my phone number. If telemarketers need to know a phone, that's the number they call, and I have a thing that tells me who's calling, and I know it's a scam or not. And so if you call me, just know that you got to talk, because I'm not going to pick up unless I recognize your name. And even if your name comes through, that does not necessarily mean I'm going to pick up, because scammers have figured out how to pick up a name from somebody you might know, and it'll go through. So I just don't want to be bothered with that. So that's why I don't use my cell phone. And so I can't use a lot of those apps. And that's why I don't want Joanne's to know it, or any of the others. So I don't get coupons anymore. But let's talk about coupons. Today when I went to the grocery store, on my creamers, there were 2 coupons. It was $1 off each creamer. I'm like, kind of scoring this. There was only 2 in the whole unit, and I just said, I took them. One was on the one I bought, and then there was another one. There was only 2 in all of them. So I think what happens, and I've seen this happen, where either the manager or the manufacturer rep is in there placing stickers, but they don't put them on all the products. So it is to incentivize you to save money. Well, I saved $2 because those coupons were on the product that I was buying. I no longer cut coupons because I don't get the paper. I don't have the time anymore. And I'm okay with that, because coupons can draw us into buying something that we don't need. So we have certain brands that we like, certain products that we purchase, and it's not a big list. And that's why it took me 2 years to earn $10. Oh my gosh. But it works for other people. So please know, I am not here to criminalize or insult you or anything like that. It doesn't work for me. And my daughter says, Mom, I don't understand. She says, you could save so much money. I said, but I don't buy the same products you do. And, so I buy some of them so I could earn that $10, but it just wasn't enough. All right, let's move on. So those are the shopping tools and apps that you can make money. I just don't. Buying online and picking up the store. Now, I do that with, you can do it at Lowe's, Home Depot. You can do it at Walmart. I'm trying to think of some other stores that do that. Like I said, I don't do a lot of shopping. What I do is I do shop at Walmart. I don't like to, but you want to know something? Since the pandemic, I have found that I can place an order and I can choose, do I want it delivered or do I want to go and get it? The only thing that I make sure I always pick up are canning jars. That's the cheapest place where I can get my canning jars. And so that's where I go. If I have them delivered, they come in broken every single time. And every single time I'm back on the phone. I said, you're going to pay me to get rid of this glass? But no, they don't. They just give me a credit. So I no longer buy things that are glass from them. So keep that in mind when you're shopping online, because of the way shipping is, and our delivery people are kind of being abused. Yesterday, my husband had ordered something and it was really heavy. Instead of going through UPS or FedEx or anything like that, they gave it to our regular postal people. It was too heavy. My regular guy has had recent hip surgery, so he couldn't do it. So their supervisor said, let so-and-so do it. And so he came, he goes, Laura, your order's not going to be here until later. And I said, oh, that's okay. When the guy got here, it was really heavy. I said, okay, let me help you. I'll tell you, I am so grateful for how well all the work that I've been doing around here, because my husband's either at the estate or working and stuff. I've had to pick up a lot of slack, and I am just so grateful. My line is kind of like sitting back a little bit because my strength is really good, and I was able to help him put it up on the deck. It was really heavy. So, but like, I still buy things to have it delivered, because first of all, we both have cars. We don't have a truck right now. He keeps telling me that's on our shopping list, is to get a truck. And that's another topic of why I'm waiting for a truck. And a little hint, prices are going to continue to go down. And I know that that's going to happen. So my gut says wait, because everything keeps going up. Anyways, so when I go on like the Walmart one, I will just say, okay, we want this, 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 and this. And I decide when I'm going to order it. I prefer to have things delivered to me. And the reason I prefer that is because I don't have to drive. I don't have to go out. I don't have to worry about if I'm having a Lyme flare or something else is going on. I don't have to worry about it. It's going to be delivered. But once a month when I get my phone card, because I use Total Wireless, which is now, I guess, Total Verizon or something, I use that phone plan where I have to go in and get a card. Could I purchase over the phone? Yep. Guess why I don't? I don't want them to know that, I don't want them to have my credit card. I don't want them to automatically charge me. I do not. I like to have control of my money, so I don't do any automatic payments for anything, ever. So that's what I do. I will decide, is this something I want to pick up? If it's really heavy, I'd rather have it delivered. If it's glass, I'm picking up. But sometimes it's just a few items, and so I'll just say, okay, David, we have to go out and pick these things up, or he might pick up before he goes to work if it's not perishable. I do not buy any perishables at Walmart. I go to my local grocery store. Like I said, it's 5 minutes down the road, and so we go over there and we pick up perishables. Before they built this store here, I would put a cooler in my car, and I would put my perishables in it in the summertime to keep things cold and so they wouldn't go bad. All right, so the other reason to shop online is you can avoid the temptation, because you're going down the list of things and you can say, okay, I need this, need this, need this. Now, of course, while you're on Walmart, they might say, we got these deals going on, and they do. So you might want to browse through there or something like that. But just know that when you're shopping, what is it that you're looking for? And one of the things that I've been wanting for months is like a canopy, a really nice canopy to, people use them at the park so that they have sun protection. It's like a little portable gazebo. And so it was half off and it had high reviews. And so I said, David, this is like 50% off. I have the money. Can we get this? Because we needed to kind of go through some of the things that we got from the estate, but also because he needs to clean out his shed, his garage, which is his shop. It just gives him an extra space to do that. Plus, when we have the yard sale, which I do not like doing yard sales, there's so much work for such little money, but we have to get rid of some stuff from the estate or even our own stuff. So to just make it shady, not in a bad way, it just gives us shade. So that's the reason I do online. And then you can kind of like say, oh, this is on sale. And what they do is they have a deal mark on Amazon and on Walmart. Now, I'm not promoting those two places at all. Those are just things that no matter where you shop, whether it's Best Buy, Target, I'm sure Target does too, they all have clearance deals and stuff like that. But when you go in there, just be really careful what you're purchasing. Let's move on. Let's see. Rewards. I think I mentioned a little bit about that on the loyalty programs, but one of the loyalty programs that I do is with my credit card, and I mentioned this last week. My credit card gives me 1% back for every dollar I spend. I pay my utility bills with it, except my water, because if I pay my water, they would charge me more than that 1%. So I just write them a check. But for everything else, I put it on there. At the end of the month, like 2 weeks, sometimes I pay twice a month. Every time David gets paid, I pay on that bill, because those expenses are our basic expenses. So our groceries, his gas, and our utilities are on there. And then any purchases that we might make are there. So that's how we use that reward card. Now, you have discounts like not at Home Depot, but Lowe's, we get like a 5% thing. And we find that paying that bill is so complicated that it depends on what we're buying. If it's a small item, we don't even worry about it. We use the credit card that gives us the 1%. And the reason is the hassle of paying it, that's my time. Because then you end up calling, and then it's this, and then it's like, I don't have time for this. And part of the reason is because he has, when we were doing the home improvements, they gave him a business card. It didn't give him a bigger interest. It just did something different, and it makes it more difficult to pay the bill because that's the card we use. But when it comes up on our phone, it goes to the other card we're no longer using, and it's got to be, we're done with this. So we do have one bill from them that we have to go down and pay in person because that's why I don't do it. I would just rather get 1% back versus 5% now because it's too much of a hassle to pay it. So there are other loyalty programs. I don't fly. Dave and I, we don't go on the planes. We don't have any of these other loyalties. I would rather get money back to pay my bills because that's basically what I'm doing. But other people who fly a lot, they get miles and stuff like that. I know that my older brother, he does that, or he used to. And he would just accumulate his miles so that he could fly for free. That's awesome because you never know how much the flight is going to cost. And so that's a benefit. So decide how you want to use different things. And there's been other things that we have been offered. And we don't want to have a bunch of credit cards. We have one. And we do have a Home Depot and a Lowe's, but we rarely use those. That's it. Oh wait, I'm lying. I have a Kohl's card. I used it once last year. I just don't use them that much, except we have one and I have a routine of when I pay it. Let me see. So loyalty programs, kind of be aware of the gimmick that might be there and make sure that you're willing to participate in that. Oh, and I didn't write it down, but those warranties that come with your product, you might have to pay more. You got to decide because some products actually are really well made. Not many. I did not buy a warranty on my stove that I have back here, and my husband fixed it a few months back. And he wanted to get me a new stove. God bless him. He really did, because he knows I want to do one. But I don't want one and then spend a lot of money, wait 6 months and all this, because since the pandemic, life has just been upside down. So I didn't want it. So he was like looking at the prices, and I shared this when I talked about it before. It was going to take 6 months to get it. The price of one was $600, and it didn't have the same features of the stove we already have. So I said, just buy the part. He goes, Laura, it's going to cost a lot. Well, it cost us a little over $100, I believe it was. And he fixed it within, we got the part, he had it fixed within an hour or so. You know what? That's better than waiting 6 months to get something to cook on. So I'm good with that. Before purchasing new, say you're buying something that you really want, say a rocket stove. I wanted a rocket stove for a while. Last fall, we built one with bricks. We had the bricks. So I didn't spend the $80 to $150 for a rocket stove. Do I still want one? I keep looking at them, but I like the one that we built. And I like the aesthetic look of it as well. And there are some things that we're kind of like are on our list because we're trying to build an outside cooking area. And so there's something that I want that we're talking about, and I'll share that in a future video. So that's what we do is we plan like, I'll say, David, this is what I want to do. What are your thoughts? And I look for his feedback, like building a unit to cook outside, we have to think about a lot of things. You're not going to put it on a wood base. You want to have a steel base. Do we have something like that? Those are the things that we talk about. And what do we have here that we can use before we build this? And the things that are going through my mind and some of the things that we picked up at the estate, we're going to be able to incorporate into that. So I'm really grateful that my father-in-law had a lot of stuff, even though I'm not grateful that we have so much to do because we've gotten rid of so much. But sometimes you have to look at the blessing that you encounter after the fact. So let's see. I mentioned the abandoned cart incentives. Does it happen all the time? No. I wouldn't recommend putting it in the cart. Like when I shop on Amazon, I don't get those incentives, but I do get notification when I go in there 2 days later that the thing that I wanted went up in price. So when that happens, I said, I don't need it anymore. And it goes into my wish list because there's one tool that I want to get my husband. Every day it goes down $10, then it goes up $10, and it's doing this flip-flop. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. And that can happen within an hour after I put it back in the cart. I'm like, I'm not playing this game. So it's basically out of my wish list now. And it's something my husband said, yeah, that'd be kind of handy to have. Well, if we're out and about, maybe we'll go to a yard sale or something. If I see that, then it's one of those tools that you help push through on your table saw. And I really want to get that for him. But, and it's not really expensive. Excuse me. With the window open, I hear more of what's outside going on. That was the city truck going by. So sorry for the distraction. So I want to get that for him, but I don't like how it keeps going up and down. So I'm just not buying it. So we're going to just kind of keep an eye out, and I'm going to ask, I think we can make something, because he makes all kinds of jigs and stuff to get by. Anybody who works in woodworking or has a shop, you don't always have to buy a gadget. You can make your own gadget. And there's a lot of people I know who do that. So that's pretty much it. Oh, and also before you purchase new, the one thing that we do is, I haven't shopped on Craigslist in a long time, but I'm starting to kind of open up that social site again, because I have things to sell. I need to get out of the house from the estate, or just Dave and I wanting to get out. And there's, even your online yard sales, like on Facebook, if you're there, you can put a yard sale item on there. I don't like the marketplace, because when we were trying to sell a car, there's a lot of weirdos out there. So we just didn't do that. So we don't do the marketplace one as much. When you're doing that, if you're putting something up to sell, be aware that, if there's a few questions that they can just click. Is this still available? Don't even bother answering those, because if they really want it, they will come back and say, is this still available? When I respond to something that someone's selling, I'll just say, hey, I am interested in this. This is when I can come by. Can you tell me this little bit of information? If it's something that wasn't in their thing. And you know what? Then you have a conversation going on. And then you're talking to a real person. And that's what's helped me to purchase. So when somebody responds to something I'm selling and is like, is it still available? I don't even answer it, because it's not worth my time. So those are the ways that we try to save money. We try not to drive to too many places. We try to have some things delivered. And just because I have some groceries delivered from Walmart, I would love to purchase from Azure Standard. Like, there's a lot of people who buy from them. It's not in our area. We used to have one. I looked into it, but the person who was in charge of it, she never got back to me. And then I recently looked, and they're not delivering out here in New Hampshire. There are some other places, like I get sometimes when my grains, like lentils, dried peas, and stuff like that, if we're running low, I will order. And I order it from a company out west. And what I do is, because I buy them in 25-gallon buckets, and when that 25-gallon bucket gets down to about halfway, I make the order. And that's how I buy my oatmeal. I buy peas, all kinds of legumes and stuff like that. The other thing I buy in bulk is chicken feed, but I make my own. I buy all the ingredients that are in a feed, like the oats and the corn and all, flaxseed and all this. And it's more expensive. It seems like it's more expensive, but we find that it's not. So you have to know the people out there. You have to know the companies. You have to do a little bit of research. And that's how I do my shopping. Now, grains, the local place that I go to, the one that's an hour away, I'll just make a list of what I want to get there. But we also have a place here locally that I can go down and get what I need. But more often than not, to feed my chickens, I give them the vegetable scraps and the meat scraps and stuff. And yes, chickens can have. It was so weird when I gave them chicken the first time. I'm like, they're carnivores. They attack meat. Like, oh, they're dinosaurs. But also, some of the grains that I buy in bulk are grains that I can use in my own cooking. So sometimes you kind of have to decide, is that just because you buy it at a grain store for animals, there are some things that you can consume as a human if you think about it. So, I buy cracked corn for them because I don't want to sit here and crack it. But I buy peas from a reliable source out west. That's how I get my peas, and I put peas in their chicken mix. And someday I'll do a video on what I put into their mix. And but anyways, I'm trying to keep these short, and I'm not sure how long I spoke. I spoke too long. I hope these were some tips. I have some other ideas to share with you on how I save money. This might have worked for you. It might not have. I hope it was helpful, and I hope that you have a great day, and may God bless you.